Lots of trade chatter about the Cubs. What about Garrett Crochet?
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into a discussion with you on all things Cubs. Thank you for being part of the show and making us your first listen today. And the best way you can help us grow the show is to listen every day, like the video, and comment anything below. Today's episode is presented by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. MLB Network's John Morosi reported on Wednesday that the Cubs have entered the mix for White Sox starting pitcher Garrett Crochet, listing the Cubs and Reds as a, quote, viable candidate for the left-hander. The Red Sox, Phillies, Dodgers were all previously reported as having trade talks with the White Sox since July's trade deadline and then into this winter. Sam, there's a lot to discuss here with Crochet, who has a lot of upside and could be a nice trade target for the Northsiders.
Well, this is right on brand with what we talked about for yesterday's program when you're talking about a ceiling. It doesn't get any higher of a ceiling acquisition than Garrett Crochet. If everything were to go well with him, he has as good a stuff as anybody in the world. I'm going to say that one more time. He's as good a stuff as anybody in the world. But there's major concerns about his health, arm health, his durability, the amount of innings that he's thrown. This would be the definition of a high ceiling, low floor addition. If all goes well with Garrett Crochet, you're talking about a guy that could be, right in the middle, if not at the top of Cy Young ballots at the end of the year. If everything were to go wrong, you're talking about a guy that may not pitch or contribute whatsoever. There isn't a bigger variance ceiling floor guy than Garrett Crochet. Where do I land? Because I guess that's what my job is to say right in the middle. If they were to acquire him, I wouldn't be running around the complex with my W flag.
Really?
Yeah, I wouldn't be going crazy.
He has the best stuff in the world?
He has the potential to have as good of a stuff as anybody when he's on. I have concerns, but I also wouldn't be upset, and I would applaud the try and the swing to get a guy. I mean, you got a guy, this guy sits at what? 99 to 100 when he's feeling good. The cutter's nasty, the slider. I got his numbers right here in front of me. Who cares about his record because he was on the Sox? Jed will love his 4.1 wins above replacement. He had an ERA of 3.58, which is probably a little higher than you would have thought. FIP was 2.69, so some bad luck in there. He obviously had one of the worst teams in history behind him. 146 innings last year, 209 strikeouts for Garrett Crochet. He made a lot of starts. He started 32 games, but man, if you remember the last half of his starts, they were really limited, right? 3 innings, 4 innings, things of that nature. He was an all-star. He's a stud arm, but it's the durability that makes me lukewarm on it, but I'm not opposed to it because I want him to take a big swing.
So I'm genuinely asking, is his durability concern unlike all other pitchers?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Because, when you just look at it, he's thrown 219 innings in his whole career.
Right. He was a reliever, right?
He was a reliever, converted starter for this season.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just the arm trouble. And then the way they handled it at the end of the year last year, I have some durability concerns. Because think about it. It's not like Matthew Boyd. Matthew Boyd, you're giving 2 years, $29 million to. If that flops, it's just money. This is a guy you're going to be trading real major capital for. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Higher
I
capital.
just think, he had Tommy John. That's not unusual.
No.
And he basically had it as, you know, to after his first year.
Right.
He basically had it after his first year, so he missed the entire 22 campaign, and then he got in late on 23.
Right.
He was a reliever in 23. All of a sudden, the Sox, with their futility, they named him opening day starter like 10 days before the season. No one even knew the guy was a starter,
Right.
and he pitched really well. I don't see how there's more durability concerns with him than any other dude, especially because he already had the surgery, right?
Right. No, I know. He
Even
just
baseball.
Yeah, he just throws, he throws 100 plus. It's just a lot of tax on the arm.
Right. Maybe because of his delivery as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, I know that last year a lot of people didn't want to offer a lot for him
Right.
because of this. So I'm going off a little bit of that.
And I wonder if the White Sox hold out for their price because it seems like no one has offered what they want because of the risk.
And wasn't there something with Crochet with trades where he came out publicly? Remember that?
That's right.
And said
that made his market more tepid than it should have been.
right. And I'm trying to
Because he
remember.
wanted an extension with his new team.
Exactly. And that scared me about his arm.
I wonder if
because
okay, you made that connection, right?
Because he knows himself better than anybody, so he probably wanted to secure that bag just in case,
Interesting.
another arm. I remember that.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So there's a couple of things there, but again, in order to hit a home run, you got to swing hard. You got to take a big swing,
Right?
And I don't mind the Cubs doing it. I'm a little surprised that they're in the talks just because of the durability and stuff, but I'm not opposed to it. And the one place the Cubs can really afford to take a big swing is with starters, because if it were to go really poorly, they do have depth there. That's kind of why I think they took the swing with Boyd and his unknown, if you will, because if it does, let's say, bust out, you still have Wicks, you still have Assad. I'm not going to say Wisniewski. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, I don't think he belongs in that group.
No, I'm not going to do that after last year. He needs to prove that.
No, that's good for you, actually. I didn't do that the other day.
No, and I'm not. So there's there's Brown, there's Horton, there's a lot. The Cubs have a pretty good, solid foundation. So, it would be different if they traded for a position player, gave up a bunch of guys, and you had a position player that had that much of a risk attached to him because the Cubs are already thin there. They don't have a lot of great position players.
No.
So yeah, I'm.
Well, they don't have any great position players.
Yeah, I'm intrigued.
Maybe one, Suzuki.
I don't. No. I don't think great. He hasn't proved that he's great yet. Don't do that. And I love Suzuki. I like him better than you like him. But great is not the word. He's been good offensively.
Yeah. So I think this is a risk because the cost might be too large. I do want to get into that a little bit.
Let's do it.
Again,
not a little bit.
I am for the swing. I'm for the big swing. I still have a pretty good swing, to be honest with you.
Do you?
But yeah.
Okay.
I do.
I never did.
So the cost is going to be big. I get that. That's not news to me. I wonder if Chris Getz folds his cards and says, you know what? Let's just try to see what we can get this offseason. He doesn't trade him this offseason. He only has a season and a half left to control if they explore this again this summer. He's through team control through 26. So he's under control the next 2 years. Sam, the Cubs have the capital to make this type of swing.
This is why.
And the Sox want position players.
No,
the Cubs have controllable major league starting position players as well as positional prospects.
This is why
they are a match.
This is why this deal is talked about. The Cubs are a perfect match with any team looking to unload a player like this, because the Cubs can give up 2, 3, 4 names you're really excited about, and for the Cubs, they can wipe their hands with it. Let's just play a little game. Triantos, Alcantara, and one other, maybe like a Rojas.
Well, probably a starting pitcher, probably Wicks
Okay.
or Assad too.
I don't know. Yeah, all right. I mean, if the Sox want that.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, fine. I don't.
So Alcantara, Triantos, Wicks, and another prospect.
Yeah, maybe like I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of some other deals. I think Alcantara, Triantos, Wicks, and then maybe like a lottery ticket type thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, what is that really? Is that really a large risk for the Cubs?
At the end of the day, I personally don't think so.
Because where's Alcantara fitting in the next couple of years?
And I would be jumping up and down if they got him.
No, I think if they got him for that, I would do a lap.
Yeah.
Because it's just, you're not giving up that much. I mean, look, going forward, and I get it. Hap and Suzuki, they don't have a ton of time left here. Bellinger's probably out the door, but you feel pretty good about Casey. You feel pretty good about PCA. You feel pretty good about Shaw. Cam Smith wouldn't go in a deal like that, I would assume. So you still have your young core. It's not like you're trading away your whole system if it's Triantos, Alcantara, Wicks, and maybe a lower level guy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Rojas would probably be a bridge too far.
Another possible twist to this that I haven't heard anywhere, I'm just bringing it up on our show. He's only projected to get $2.9 million this year. Next year, he'd probably pushing like 10, 11. Well, at those numbers, could he pitch the ninth inning?
100%. Why the huge jump? Because his service, just because he'll produce.
Yeah, he'll be good.
Yeah. Because his service
he's only
time
been good for 1 year.
Exactly. His service time is so low.
Right.
No, I'm glad you mentioned that. I had that on my list. If you do have durability concerns, this guy at his price could slide into the ninth, and that job's taken care of.
Everybody's slots are rung down. You feel great.
He's the closer.
He would be nearly unhittable in a one-inning segment.
And assuming that there's no major injury, that would be worst case scenario. I'm starting to talk myself into this a bit.
Let's go. Come on.
Because look, scared money doesn't make money. I mean, look at the Dodgers. They went out and got Glasnow last year. There's a ton of injury attached to him. And guess what? He got hurt, and they still won anyway.
I got another big name next segment that the Cubs might get in a trade. If they get Crochet and this other big name, completely transforms the whole franchise.
Whole franchise, if it's the name I think you're going to say. So yeah, look, I'm going to talk about this on tomorrow's show.
What about?
It's starting to feel like it's just all about trades, and that's how this team's going to have to get better.
As buyers and sellers, yeah.
My topic for the show tomorrow, Matt, is going to be something like what guys on the big league team. So and forget PCA. We know PCA and Shaw are guys we would like to hold on to unless we're trading for like a world superstar.
That's really the only two guys though.
What's like your order of guys that you're most like ready to move on from in the Bellinger, Paredes, Bush, Horner? Like, because we're going to be talking a lot about those guys in trades, right? So
yeah.
Where are you at in terms of, I want to see this guy out. You know what? I'm not ready to give up on this guy yet. I think that's kind of where I'm going for tomorrow.
Yeah. And so just because, I'm in this 4-show-a-week formation, I'd like to answer the question.
Yeah, I know this is going to be good.
It's Horner's my number one.
You want him out?
Out.
Yeah.
I really want to see Matt Shaw play baseball for this team.
Yeah. It's a great
150 games.
Yeah. It's a great point.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought you were
Paredes 2.
Yeah.
Bellinger 3, Bush 3. I don't really know if Bush is in that same convo.
It just feels like Bellinger is inevitable.
It does, but he would be my last ranking.
Yeah, okay. So, because you're not concerned about the money with Bellinger, really.
Because those 4 guys are really the only guys available.
Yeah, I mean, Dansby would absolutely be on there for me, but he's not. His contract's not tradable.
Right.
Just not tradable.
Well, he has no trade.
Right. Him, Hap, and Suzuki are not tradable.
Yeah.
I'm not putting Ballesteros in there. He's too young. Shaw, PCA, no way.
Amaya's the current group. Right.
Yeah. Amaya's not going anywhere. Some of these other guys don't have and look, Steele's not going. By the way, if they had an untouchable, like a major, it's Steele. Like I just don't. Could you imagine if they did that?
Yeah, no, I can't.
They would never do that.
No. All right, coming up next, the Cubs are indeed active in the trade market. Let's tell you about it.
This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your live bets. Look, folks, the Bears play the Niners this Sunday, and the line opened at 5.5. It's now down to 4. This is not a game I'm going to watch. This is a game that I'm completely indifferent on because that's what this organization has forced me to do. But from a betting standpoint, I think the Bears have some value, and that's why they were probably bet down to 4 quickly. The new coach theory, you always play a little harder when you got a new coach. You're unhappy. Right. San Francisco's really banged up. I think they're going to be out both their running backs. And the Bears really should have won games against Green Bay, Minnesota, and Detroit. They're not a bad football team in terms of their talent. They just don't know how to close games because they have a dysfunctional organization. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
Based on reports over the last week and really just the last couple of days, the Cubs seem to be one of the most active teams on the trade market. Winter meetings do start Monday. Cody Bellinger is available. Multiple teams have been connected. Nico Horner is available. Mariners have been officially connected now. And Isaac Paredes is likely available too. And the Cubs already made 2 trades. They got Eli Morgan and Matt Dice 2 weeks ago. And now, as we talked about to lead off, Garrett Crochet has been linked to the Cubs. And there might be 2 other teams we can give a strong guess on as well as possible areas the Cubs could add impact from. Here's my thing. As the optimism increases a little bit, no one knew about Craig Counsell. No one knew about Michael Bush. There was maybe mild known interest on Shota Imanaga. So, Sam, could Jed Hoyer be working quietly with a big trade or 2 or more up his sleeve?
Yeah, and I would even say it doesn't even feel at this point like it would be quiet. I expect some trades. And, it's going to be, he has to toe that line. It's a hard job that he's got. And you have to toe that line between, you don't want to make a trade just to make a trade. You want to make a trade to get better.
And he hasn't really done that.
No, but what he has, the one thing he's done a great job of, and the one thing that he's given himself the ability to do is he could make a guy, just like you just said in the first segment, like Nico Horner, expendable because he has a guy ready in his place. Mm-hmm. And so that makes trading a lot easier. When you really have faith in a young player like a Matt Shaw, maybe an Owen Casey, it makes making those deals a lot easier to improve different parts of your club. And that's what I think he's going to try and do. I'm not exactly sure. Okay, Horner for a pitcher. They only really need 1 more starter. Like if they sign 2 more starters, they don't like that would be kind of crazy. So, maybe they are cooking up something for a position player. Maybe they really like a reliever on some other team. I don't know. But there's going to be a day we're going to be sitting around. It'll be the mid-afternoon and something's going to break. And we're going to go right to the instant reaction. It's going to be a big trade. That was how the Paredes deal was.
Oh, that'd be our first live show since Imanaga's last start.
I mean, the Paredes thing was totally out of the blue. I mean, they made
it was. That's right. They were silent on him too. I forgot to include that in my list.
My wisdom tooth had just come out.
I was at Whole Foods.
So, but yeah, it's exciting. I like that they're working the calls, and I'm really interested to see who they identify as most expendable. And that's what I'm talking about for tomorrow. And I really wonder, like, is it position based? Like, is it just Horner because of Matt Shaw, or are the Cubs maybe a little bit ready to move on from a Nico Horner? Does Jed look in the mirror and go, what? Does Jed go, what? I didn't like the Paredes deal. I made a mistake. I liked it. I look back at it now. He's expendable. If a team like Houston really likes him because of the Crawford boxes, I'm okay with that. Those are the things.
Right. And you could get value for him.
For sure, he's still valuable. I mean,
Yeah.
the last 3-4 months of the season, it's almost indescribable how poor he was at the plate. But
Well, I think Paredes and attached two prospects. I think he could be going to Houston, and I think he might be going to Houston for Kyle Tucker, man.
Yeah. Would you put?
That's based on reporting from Chandler Rome, the Astros beat writer from The Athletic, who dating back to late October has mentioned Tucker's name in almost every article in terms of not that teams have talked to the Astros, although I would like to know that, and I would love to get that scoop, but just that nothing's off the table. He's reported that nothing's off the table for two reasons for the Stros. One, payroll management, and two, to reload their farm system, which is ranked pretty low.
What's Tucker
and the
supposed
Cubs could do that?
What's Tucker supposed to get next year? Like 16.5 M's? Think
He's
something
supposed to get about 16, 17 in our arbitration. He's got 1 year left.
So, and then he's
a guy that you should want to sign a big extension for.
100%.
He could be the missing piece that could be on this team for the next decade.
Would you trade PCA for him?
No.
Okay.
All right.
Guaranteed.
No,
okay. Yeah, me neither.
But I would trade Paredes, Casey, Horton.
Oh, that.
And I'd put up the 300 M's to sign him.
That, what you just said would probably would do it for 1 year. And then some. Paredes, Casey, Horton for Tucker, that they would do that. For 1 year, they get a third baseman because they're losing Bregman. They get Casey who they slot in right away and a prospect. They'd probably do that. I don't think the Cubs would do that. I would, but I don't think they would. I would do that. Because I want to take a shot on a guy like Tucker. I want to put his name across the billboard. I want to give him 300. I want him to have a 960 OPS and steal 35 bags.
Correct. And the other team that I think is a possible match, again, this is according to now Dan Hayes of The Athletic, the Twins reporter. Because of the Twins TV deal, nothing's off the table for them.
Seems like baseball's in a good financial place. Go ahead.
And so I think a starter like a Pablo Lopez or a reliever like a Duran or Jax, that could be a surprise deal for Hoyer too.
I've heard a lot of Lopez buzz.
Yeah.
So haven't looked into that.
I'm starting to get excited for these meetings, man.
For these trades. Yeah. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. I think we're gonna get a bit. I've always thought going into the season it was going to be a lull with the free agents, and then there was going to be at least one crazy trade.
Yeah.
So, but who knows? I don't want to get our hopes up. We did that last year, and
well, there's been way more activity already just with the rumor mill.
Well, and with us, we've signed 2 players or traded for one and signed for one. So you don't want to do another segment on Boyd?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't want to do a segment on him till March.
Got it.
Preferably.
Early March.
Hey, coming up next, he's probably a reliever in Japan, right? Tokyo?
Well, he's not getting one of the first 2 days.
No.
2 games. So, yeah, why not? Because they'll be limited. Those guys won't throw. Like last year, they 4 innings max. So you'll have a little bridge.
Gotcha.
Maybe 5 innings.
That's going to be Steele Imanaga 1-2 or Imanaga first, then Steele?
I think they may go Imanaga first just because of the Japan element to it.
Right.
And I don't think Steele would mind that. But maybe the other way.
And those games haven't been confirmed time, but I'm expecting like 4 or 5 a.m. Central.
5 a.m. is what I've heard.
Yep. Hey, coming up next, guess who's going to be broadcasting those games in the early morning hours there in mid-March, at least on radio? Pat Hughes and Ron Coomer are back. Stay tuned. We're back here on Locked On Cubs, and the Cubs officially announced Wednesday Pat Hughes and Ron Coomer have signed extensions through the 2026 season as the team continues their radio broadcast on 670 The Score and the Cubs radio network. We talked about Pat and Ron a little bit in our Boog episode a couple weeks ago, Sam. And nice of these guys to be around 2 more years.
Yeah,
and I wonder if this is the last 2 years for Pat. I do.
Yeah, I mean, those are the two guys when I want to feel like I'm listening to Cubs baseball, I listen to them. I don't know how else I could say it.
All right, that's how we could wrap up.
No, I mean, you feel the same way. I mean,
I do.
There's nothing.
Sorry, Kyle.
There's nothing I love more than about 2:15 on a Friday in the summertime or May, and I'm working, I'm doing stuff, and I'm driving, and I hear Pat on the air. Cubs are up 5-1 in the 5th. It's a comfortable win, and he's doing his thing. And Coomer, they're a great team, and I really enjoy both of them.
Yeah, Coomer's been around over a decade now.
Yeah, how crazy. Was Moreland just 1 year?
He was 2.
2 years? Okay.
Yeah, 12 and 13.
Got it.
I think so. Hey, thank you so much for checking out this edition of Locked On Cubs. You give us 20 to 30 minutes. We'll give you all things Cubs with a laugh or two along the way. Be sure to hit subscribe on YouTube, smash the like button for the algorithm, and leave a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, and everywhere you get your podcast. And I forgot to say this at the start. And that's when the most people are with us. But Sam and the folks that are still with us here, Spotify Wrap started Wednesday. If we're on your Spotify Wrap,
I got a few of them.
You have to send it to us.
Yeah.
Okay. Please tag us on Twitter.
Yep. I posted a couple on Instagram today.
And let us know, please.
I posted, I think, 2 or 3.
Okay. Or the show account as well at Locked On Cubs. All right. Those are always fun to look at.
They're cool.
Love that. All right, Sam will be back Friday, pending breaking news. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.
You guys do great work. I listen.